Okay, so it's still day 2 here. This will be another video. I can't leave these trees out without repotting them now. So we'll get back to work and get straight back into let's do bonsai. So I think the first one that we will work on will be the hobbit tree. And we'll remove the mushrooms which Kay made when we were dressing these things up, and the little hobbit door. We'll just remove them and keep them safe. And this isn't wired in or anything, so it should just lift straight out of the pot. It's probably got a few roots in here, and that's come straight out. We've got drainage screens in the bottom. Oh, we've got some slugs in the bottom. We'll get rid of them. And then the other drainage screens over here. Oh, doesn't want to come out, so we'll just push the pot to one side. And we've got plenty of roots here. Not really root bound or anything, not pot bound. So yeah, we'll just look to separate the soil from the roots that we've got, and look to repot. It's coming away nicely. There's lots of little, I say lots, there are some little fibrous roots down below. The tree is not in bad health, but it's not fantastic. It's nice and green up top, but it's pretty much been like that apart from a little bit of growth since we got it. So we'll break out the roots, remove the soil as always, and then see what we've got to work with down here. We've got a bulbous root here, a bulbous root in the middle that comes out through the back, and then another thick bulbous root along the side which swings out, and then roots come off and down off that, but that's above the planting level. So we'll just work this out. And see what roots we've got. It hasn't laid down too much roots. We did repot this quite early on in the video stream. I'll make sure that it's part of the video links so that you can see the previous video, but I think today's going to be the day to start tidying up quite a bit of this root action that's going on. This one that comes up and over, you know, it's a bit messy, and we're going to have to trim quite a lot of these longer roots off. In general, these things do grow back very well, so we don't have to panic and worry too much about the roots, what we take off and what we leave on. Roots come out of the side of these more bulbous roots. We could pretty much cut it straight off there and just stick it in soil and it'd continue to grow. You know, it's that type of growth that you get from these. What I would like to see is this grow thicker, and then be able to tidy up this where it was spliced into this rootstock. I don't particularly like this, and it would be nice to be able to tidy that up, but it's going to be something that happens over a long period of time with this tree, that we take some time to tidy it up. But we'll wash these roots out, see what we've got, trim them down a bit, tidy our tray up again, and come back and finish off the root work and get it into a pot. So here we are back with all the roots cleaned out. Most of these roots have grown since the last time we repotted it. We didn't leave it with a lot of roots on the previous repot, and I think going forward what we'll do today is we'll take some of these weird roots that are coming off in weird directions, get it repotted, but then these bulbous roots will start trying to thin them out, separate and make them look like separate roots, as we've seen on other channels that people put up. We might try and do that, but it'll be a decision to make as we go forward. But there are a lot of these roots that are just coming off in weird directions, so today we'll just take some of these away and tidy some of these up. So if we come in with some branch pruners, we can take that first root off that's gone around the top there. Again, our planting level is going to be round about here, so the next thing is going to be to try and get these roots coming out in a radial fashion. We'll look to take anything that goes straight down off. I think these ones that go back round to the side, I think we'll probably just take those off altogether and basically trim this part of the root right back. Or in fact, it does actually go up slightly, so I think we'll work on taking this bulbous root actually fully away. I don't know whether we'll be able to do that with the branch pruners, but we'll try. That's actually come off really nicely actually. It's put a nice concave indentation into that root, and I'll just nibble some of that away just to tidy that up. So we'll just take these roots that are going up there, and then there's one that comes out of the back that we'll take away, and then there's lots of roots that come out and go down and around. There's a number of roots that come off this big large bulbous root down the bottom. I think we're just going to chop into that and take as much of that away as possible, because all the roots seem to come off the bottom of that. So we'll just take chunks out of the bottom, and that's got rid of the ones that go straight down. And then off of this other one we've got a series of roots that go straight down, so we'll try and eliminate those also. So that's got rid of those, and then we've just got some roots to lay it on, and then the roots that can come out in a radial fashion. We'll just trim the longer ones away just to bring it all back up into make all the roots equal. There's this one root that comes off the side and then darts straight back. We'll take that off. The rest of these come out and flow quite nicely, so they're okay. These can come out and go into the soil. These ones come out and drop into the soil, and these also come out and go through the soil. But we'll make some major decisions come next year as to what to do with this big root, bulbous roots that are going. Some people like it, some people like to thin them out and make them look like multiple roots. To be honest, I'm not really sure what I like with these. I would have liked the original ficus tree with its original roots and not this great big lump. half of me is tempted to cut all that away and try and work with these branches that are always branching out at the bottom roots, but that would be quite an excessive move, and not one that I'm really willing to do, if I'm honest. But we'll get that just cleaned up a little bit more as it is, get it into a pot and just reduce the top and bring that back down ever so slightly. So we're going to put this back into its original pot. So I've rinsed it off and cleaned it up a little bit. We just need to get a couple of drainage screens into the bottom, which we'll drop them in now. We just need to pop some soil, a base layer, into the bottom of the pot, and then we can reposition our hobbit tree back in the pot. Now we just need to pull some of those roots around into a more radial fashion, and then I'm just going to pour the soil in because I'll be here forever and a day using the shovel. And we'll just get the rake and work that in to the tree, and we'll just pour a bit more into the back. There's not much roots for this to be worked into, so it's just a case of getting it around the base of the tree and keeping the soil even. So we'll just work that into the roots that we have got. And I just need to go and get a bit more soil so that we can carry on with this. So I've got plenty more soil here now, and we'll just use the little scoop to scoop it into position. You'll notice that this soil is looks a lot more dusty than previous soils, and that's because there's the dirt that's in there as well, which we've totally changed the soil that was being used. We still have the well draining particles that are there, but there is the element of the soil dirt that's there, and that is doing, or seems to be doing, a decent job at the moment. Time will tell, and I just hope that I've chosen the correct combination. We'll just get the soil, we'll just get the water, and we'll water this soil through. That's coming out of the bottom, it's seeping away to the back of the tray. You just see the motion of the water. So we'll come in with the potting grit for the top layer, and we'll just lay that into the top of the pot just to give it the nice finish that we always do now. So we'll just see how that lands. We'll push it around the back. And that's looking rather nice. I think we just need a little bit more on the shovel at the back, and I think that just finishes that off nicely. So we'll just water that again so that the potting grit's watered in. And then we'll put this on the shelf to recover and carry on growing, and I think it will do well as always. And then come next year we will look to work on the top half of this tree and give it some styling, but for now we'll just let it grow, let it do its thing. So here we are with the second Ginseng Ficus, and what I'm going to do first, because you know it's sat nicely in this pot and is nice and happy, we're just going to lift it out of the pot, just check the root system that's in there, and if we haven't got loads of ridiculous roots, I'm just going to put it back into the pot and we'll revisit this in spring next year, because there's nothing really wrong with it. It will want a styling, but you know, it's got some nice moss and stuff growing on the top, so if it comes out okay and then it can go back in okay, if there's nothing really wrong with the roots, then no, it's not going to come out okay. After saying all of that, it's coming out, but it's ripping its bits away. Yeah, there's a little bit of rootage, but nothing too bad. I think we might just try and work that back into the pot and just let that settle back in and stay, and then actually do this one in spring next year. I've made a mess of it now. It was nice in the pot. The moss looked nice, but I'm sure it will settle back down. The moss will continue to grow, and we'll actually do this one in line with the one that we've just repotted, and style and repot this one next year, whilst only styling the other one. I don't think this one deserves to be mistreated and repotted. There's nothing really happening down there. I'm even going to leave this big long branch on with the excessive leaves, and we'll just let that do it, whatever it's going to do, until next spring. So the next thing we're going to work on is the Conifer, which has got grass and all sorts growing in the base of this, so that's going to be competing for energy from the tree. So we'll just start by taking the hooks that were holding the branches down. It seems to have done its job anyway, so we'll take the wires away and the J-clips that were holding that down. There was another one here, so we'll just remove the J-clip and see what we've got. Yep, I think I can cut through that with them. And we just need to get this out of its soil and get it back into the pot, but in the newer soil, because this soil that it's in just isn't going to be good at all. So let's look to get it out of the pot. And it did grow quite well. It's nice and solid. There's lots of fibrous roots in there. It's actually put down lots of really good roots. I'm disappointed that we need to get it out of this soil, or maybe we don't, but we certainly need to remove this grass growth that's coming in. I'll just put it into the pot for now. There's some weedy things that are growing in here. I can't believe how there's a fine mesh of roots that have just gone around this pot, and it's rather unbelievable. Hopefully they are from the tree and not from the other things that are growing in this pot. But we'll get this, at least get this grass removed from the planting. It's actually gone all woody at the bottom. Unbelievable. Makes me wonder what it would have been. Big clump of grassy stuff that's gone all woody at the bottom. I've not really seen that before. Could have blown in off one of the fields or something, I don't know. There's lots of these little weeds that are growing out of this planting. All need removing as a minimum anyway. I do think we better get it out of this. Yeah, the roots off of that stuff has gone down, and you can see it here on the edge. It's probably what's making up all these fibrous roots. It's probably nothing to do with the tree itself. So we just put a load of surface roots across the whole thing. There's a whole mat of roots within it all. So yeah, what's growing in here is basically taking over the pot, and it would have been really competing with the tree. As the tree's obviously got its roots to the edge, they're nice and white and nice and good. So we'll get the soil away from the tree, and we'll look to do what we can to tidy it up to get it into some nice soil. Lots of fibrous roots around the edge of this, and it does seem to be that it's coming from lots of different things. I don't know how it got into this soil, whatever it is, but it certainly did a job. There's lots of roots growing but not really attached to anything. That's really strange. So there's a bundle of roots around here, but they're not particularly coming from anything. So yeah, we definitely need to get this tree away from this soil and whatever's been growing in here. It's coming off in clumps of soil, so that's helping. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare getting the actual soil all the way off, but we'll just continue to work around it. We'll rake it off. You can see the clay particles have all mushed up as they do. Yeah, this poor tree. Somebody had said that I'd condemned it to death due to the cleaning of the roots, and it looks like the death bit's right. Whether it's to do with cleaning the roots or not is another matter, but it's certainly to do with this soil and whatever has been growing in this soil, because this soil is horrid. But we can clear it away, we can get it off. It's going to be quite a bit of work to tidy it all up, but we'll do it. It's what needs to be done. We have a snail, and yeah, there's just a lot of not so good roots. So these roots are or this root base and the soil is a complete mess. I'm gonna take it and give it a blast with a hose pipe and try my best to clean it out and rescue whatever's left, and just pray that we can get this back onto a much better position than what it is. There's lots of this fine roots in the top from the grasses and stuff that were growing in there, and there's all this matted on the bottom that we can work with and take away. But we're getting to the point where the tree's roots are sat in there suffocating, and we need to blast them off, get them out and get them back into the pot, into some proper good soil, not this horrible nasty stuff that I've subjected it to. I'm so disappointed. So that has been one of the worst roots and repot situations that I've ever found myself in, and now it's beginning to rain, so I'm just going to quickly scoop some soil into the bottom of this pot that I've cleaned out, and then we'll get the tree with what roots are left on it and position it into the pot like so, and then we'll just continue to fill the pot with the soil. There's a bit of a rush job now with the rain coming in, but at least it's clear from whatever was growing within its roots and all over the place around it. I'm hoping that I've done the right thing, and I'm hoping that this tree survives. just cover up the soil that's left so it doesn't get too wet. And we'll just come in with the hose pipe on mist, just to mist the leaves even though it's raining, and just to mist the soil to get the top of the soil nice and wet. And then we'll put it onto shower and we'll just let it shower the water from the top. Allow that to drain through. I'll let that set in, and then I'll give it some feed or something just to try and help it out a little bit. The water's coming out of the bottom now. Bit cloudy with the dustier particles that are down there, but the soil's moving about, and that should hopefully settle in around the roots quite nicely. Time's going to be a factor on this one. We'll just see how it gets on. At least there's nothing in there now that's growing in there that's going to affect the tree. The only thing is there's not a lot left of the tree, so we'll just see how it performs. We'll leave it outside and we'll just see how it grows. So here we are, the trees in the pot. The rain's gone away now, so fingers crossed that it recovers and does well. But that is a major lesson learned. I did have this tree up on the wall at the bottom of the garden, and I did notice the grass and stuff growing out of it, and I kind of ignored it. But obviously the grass has created so much roots, and you can see the woodiness, the thickness of how these grass grew, and all these roots flying around the pot into the roots of the tree. I'm surprised this tree is still green and looking not too bad up above. But yeah, it could have been strangling the tree. So anything coming up in your pots, get it out as soon as possible. I was being lazy, leaving it on the wall and not doing anything with it, but yeah, major lesson learned. Get it straight out. There's only the tree we want growing from our soil. So yes, ending on a slight downer, but possibly upbeat now that we've got all those horrible fine roots from that grass taken out of the pot and away from the roots of the tree. The tree was seeming to be doing as well as it could be, bearing in mind the soil that it was in, but it's in some lovely soil now. It's going to do hopefully really well if it can recover and put some more roots down. And I'll keep it in a greenhouse just to keep it protected from the weather as it gets colder and colder and colder. But yeah, lesson learned. But for now, I'm Scott Winard. Thanks for joining me here at Let's Do Bonsai, and we'll see you on the next one.